New details today about a Goshen youth pastor who's going to prison for admitting to molesting several young boys between the ages of 11 and 13 as early as 2012. A judge sentenced 46-year-old Scott Christner to 20 years in prison after he filed a plea agreement back in early November.
16 News Now reporter Jack Springgate's live in Studio B to tell us what it was like to see this case come to a close nearly a decade after those crimes started. Jack.
Well, a no-contact order kept Christner out of the lives of his victims since he was arrested back in 2019. But today, one of those victims sat just feet away from the man who molested him and got away with it for years afterwards. It's nearly 10 years after Scott Christner touched his first victim back in 2012. These crimes continued until as recently as July 2019, just a few months before he was arrested that November. That was when a man who called Christner his friend for roughly 40 years learned that his trusted fellow brother in God violated his son in ways he couldn't even begin to imagine. In the courtroom, the father of victim 2 said he'd bring his kids to Christner during sporting events, birthdays, and especially church functions, completely unaware of the trauma going on behind closed doors. The father of victim 4 spoke on Christner's escalating predatory actions, saying, "You molested my son at a party. There were other people around." Victim 2's father said there has to be time in jail for there to be restitution. Christner said he would never put himself in a position to make these mistakes again, having led the Olympians youth group out of the First Baptist Church in Goshen during the years he abused these boys. Based on this sentence, he won't have to worry about that for at least the next 20 years. 20 years in prison after getting 3 consecutive 9-year sentences for a trio of level 4 child molestation charges, with 7 of those years suspended. He'll face a 21-year suspended sentence that will go into effect if he violates parole after serving the initial 20 years. His plea deal prevented him from getting a harsher sentence than if it went to trial, where he could have faced more than 100 years. And as you can imagine, this whole process was very difficult for the victims and their families. Those who were in attendance today were not available to give any reaction after the sentencing, but we wish them the best as they try to move on from this difficult time. Guys.
All right, Jack Springate reporting live tonight from Studio B. Jack, thank you.